All right, looks like no one's on yet. No one's joined me yet. It's okay. I'll have my coffee while I wait for people to join me. Oh, there we go. We've got Andrea. Good morning, Andrea. How are you this morning? From Mexico. Which part of Mexico are you from, Andrea? Good morning, Greg. Where are you joining us from, Greg? Oh, we've still got just over 6 minutes to go before we begin. I'm just having a coffee to try and warm up. It's freezing. Here I am. Gloves, hat, scarf. So, afternoon here, close to the capital. You live in Puebla. Is that how you say it? So you're near Mexico City. I don't think I've had anyone from Mexico join me before, so welcome. Hi, Jay from New York City, and Greg, you're in the USA as well. So I've got all the North Americans with me at the moment. I'm just going to have a little bit more coffee before we begin. Let's turn around and look at the view instead of looking at me. So we're sitting in Blue Mountains National Park, and that over there is the opposite wall of the. I guess it's a gorge really. It's a valley. Two hours away from Mexico City. Okay. It's about the same distance I am right now from Sydney. So we're, at least 2 hours drive. Around about 90 kilometres from the city. Just wait for some others to come on board and I'll finish my coffee and then I'll get up and start walking. I did notice there's another couple of people down at the cave, so we might wait for them to, by the time we get started, they should be making their way back up out of the cave as well, I'm thinking. Yes, it's cold. It's the wind chill. It's actually the temperature at the moment in Blackheath, and we're a bit out of Blackheath. The temperature at the moment in Blackheath is around 6 degrees Celsius, which is in the low to mid 40s, somewhere around there. But we have wind chill, making it feel a lot colder where I am at the moment. Good morning, Sheila. How are you this morning? Lovely to see your puppy dog face. Hi, Gabrielle. Remind me, Sheila, where are you joining us from? Yeah, it's pretty chilly. We're at about 1,100 metres altitude. So what's that? About 3,500 feet, I think. And where I live is just over 700 metres. So we've come up 400 metres. And obviously, in winter, as you go higher, it gets colder as well. Gabrielle, where are you joining us from? Let's have a little look around. I'll just pan while I finish the rest of this coffee. Can you hear the wind? You can see the vegetation moving. So I'm sitting at a little picnic table here at a beach. Oh, what sort of bird's that? Doing this one-handed. There's my little esky. Good morning, Hayward. I can tell you, Hayward, it's a lot warmer where you are than where I am at the moment. We're about to head down that path. I'll just finish this coffee. And get up and get ready to go. Alrighty. Just under 2 minutes before we officially begin, so I'll start walking down the path. Let me show you where I am. We've got this little car park here. We've come half an hour from where I live in Lawson. We've got this little dirt car park here. So we're 7 kilometres out of Blackheath. Look at this gorgeous gum tree. I'm just going to give you a portrait shot of this beautiful gum tree here. It's lovely. Oh, thank you, Hayward. Always appreciate your generosity. So 7 kilometres out of Blackheath. We travelled along bitumen for about 4 kilometres and then it turned to dirt. So we travelled along about 2 or 3 kilometres of dirt road. Hi, Mark. Hi, Betsy, Cindy and Sandra. That's my little red car. And we're heading off now to the Wind Eroded Cave. So let's start heading down the trail. We will descend down some steps. It's not very far. It's only about a 5-minute walk. Slower for me. Hi, Norman. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Deborah. Good morning, everybody who's joining me this morning. All right, let me just turn the camera around and welcome you. There's some people coming up the trail. I might actually go back to where we were standing over here to do this. Evening there, yes. It's just gone 8:30 in the morning here. So we're in the Blue Mountains National Park. Welcome, my name's Lynn for anyone who hasn't met me before. And please give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're new to my tour. Morning, DT. So before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we meet today on the traditional lands of the Turug and Gundungara people and pay respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. And on that note, let's head down to the Wind Eroded Cave. We'll just let these people come up the track. Well, welcome, David. Thank you for joining me and lovely to meet you. Let me just let these people pass. All right, so we're in the Blue Mountains National Park, which lies to the west of Sydney. At this point, we're about 90 kilometres west of Sydney. Good morning, Tian. Yes, I always love that. We always like to point out, especially at New Year, Hayward, that you're so last year. In the friendliest possible way. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Bronwyn. So the Blue Mountains National Park, as I said, we're located about an hour and a half to 2 hours west of Sydney. And it encompasses 4 large valleys. We don't have mountains as such in Australia. It's a very old continent. And what we call mountains, you guys would call hills. It's mainly a very large plateau or tableland that's been eroded over millennia by rivers and creeks. So what we're actually standing upon is the original plateau or tableland. Let me just look up at this rock as we walk past it. This is where the cave is. Hi Megan, hi Sarah, hi Katie. Thanks for joining this morning. I'm keeping an eye on the signal. Anyone who joined my last tour will know that my signal did drop out. Not at this point, and I'll warn you at the point where it dropped out. But rest assured, I do everything to get you back. At this point, the signal's looking great. Look at this lovely wattle. I think you guys call it mimosa, maybe, or it's an acacia. And at this time of year, there's lots of wattle about. All right, so here we are. We're just coming up to the cave. My husband's just standing inside under the overhang, just to give you an idea of the scale of the cave, which was formed by wind erosion. So let me just come over here, get into a better position to show you. Let's pan upwards first, and then I'll show you where he's standing. So I haven't zoomed in at all. And right up there, this is where the overhang is. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll turn the camera sideways just to give you an idea. There we go. So this just gives you an idea of the size of the overhang and cave that we're looking at. Hi, Det. Come this way a little. I love the colours and I love the sort of honeycomb effect up there. So my understanding is that the top layer of the Blue Mountains Plateau is a sandstone layer that was laid down about 300 million years ago over top of granite. So this is what we're looking at, is the erosion. In this case, that was caused by wind. But most of the Blue Mountains valleys were eroded by watercourses. And there's another small cave just around the side here. This one has some really interesting colour moving through it. It's hard to find a good spot to stand. The ground's very uneven. So what we have here is evidence of the bushfires that came through here not so long ago. So we had two very severe bushfires. One was just before COVID started, so it was at the end of 2019. There was another one about 6 years before that. And we can see here all the tree trunks, blackened tree trunks where the gum trees are actually growing back. So the bushfire came right up to here. It came from the north, and I'll point that out in more detail when we get over to Anvil Rock. We're a little bit protected from the wind here, which is really nice because it's quite a brisk wind blowing this morning. So over here we can actually see the cliffs. I'll zoom in a little so you can see the colours of the cliffs on the opposite side of the gorge. And that there is the Gross Valley. And down in the valley is the Gross River. The colours are gorgeous. There we go. It's kind of exposed differently now, so you can get a better idea of the colour. Right, I'm going to go portrait orientation one more time, so bear with me. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I'll do a quick pan and then we'll return to landscape. All right, I'm going back to landscape now, guys. You ready? I could see you all sitting there with your heads over on the left-hand side. Let's put you out of your agony. Yeah, apparently, DT, It's really fascinating, is it? Oh, I'm sorry you have to leave, Gabrielle. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you were able to see this small part of the tour. We'll catch you another time. Apparently the wind's done that, DT. It's which is really fascinating. So I imagine there must be some water impact as well. I love this little hole here. Okay, let's do one last pan upwards. See if we can get one of these lovely gum trees. It's a small one in the picture. There. Beautiful gums. Lovely colours in their trunks, in their bark. Someone has put my initials on on this tree here. It wasn't me, I promise. Okay, let's head towards Anvil Rock. Ooh, try not to trip over in the process. So here we can see, this is a lovely spot to see the canyon walls on the opposite side. There we go. Oh, thanks, DT. I love, appreciate your faith in me. Okay, let's zoom out again while we walk. All right, so we're going to head up these steps back towards the car park and then head towards Anvil Rock. So the landscape around this area is predominantly gum trees, but we also have, this is one of our native plants. It's not in flower at the moment, so it's not very interesting right now. It has a lovely red flower. This, of course, is one of our Banksias, which has a really rough, knobbly trunk, and then these huge seed pods. So that's what the flowers look like once they've gone to seed. Not many flowers out in this area just yet. I was in a spot a couple of days ago where there's some really pretty flowers starting to come out. Not so many around here, probably because it's quite exposed up here. So what we're going to do is, looks like these people had taken the same route as us, so we're bound to meet up with them again. Their car's still in the car park. We're going to climb up towards Anvil Rock. So the Blue Mountains National Park is approximately 10,000 hectares in size. I think I've got that right. At 1,000 square kilometres. No, that's not right. Bear with me, 5 minutes. So if everyone can be really patient with me if we do lose it. Interestingly, my signal was great all the way back on the return trip, on the return walk last time. So it's hit and miss. I can't predict what might happen, but trust me, I will definitely be doing everything I can to get the tour back if we lose it. All right, so let's go. Hopefully we don't lose this signal, but I'm going to walk as fast as I can as well. Sandy, the trail is dry and sandy, but only the very top layer. In Katoomba last month, July, the average rainfall normally is 80 millimeters, and last month we had 600 millimeters. The waterfalls all look amazing at the moment. All right, so the signal's holding out. Everyone, fingers crossed. We just come past this rock and I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. Yeah, I think it must drain pretty well just at this point. All right, look at where we are here. How's this for a seat? It's pretty spectacular, right? So, don't worry, it's safe. I'm not going to go clambering down the cliff face or anything. But let's have a look at the view from this point here while I catch my breath. So, Sandy, you would remember that the Gospers Mountain fire was the one that started from a single lightning strike in the wilderness just to the north of here. And it burned for something like 3 months. I think it started in October and was still burning in January, which meant it overlapped the start of COVID. It burnt 500,000 hectares. Thanks, DT. It burnt 500,000 hectares, which is 5,000 square kilometres. And I forget what that is in square miles. But it translates to larger than something like 30 countries was the area that was burned just in this area alone. On top of that, we also had fires on the north coast, fires on the south coast at the same time, just in New South Wales alone. I'm feeling absolutely fine, Angela. I've just got a puppy dog nose because it's cold and it's windy, and I've just climbed some stairs, so I'm a bit puffed out. Otherwise, I'm absolutely, totally 100% healthy. Let's keep going. This chair here, just to show you, it's a beautiful chair and it's dedicated to the memory of Joyce Brister. And it says, "At home in the bush." So it looks like she was 94 years old when she died. And this is who the chair, the beautiful, beautiful wooden chair, is dedicated to at this point here. So Richie's just looked up for me that 5,000 square kilometres is around 3,000 square miles. If that helps bring it into perspective for some people who understand area, can relate to it. I can't even imagine it, to be honest. It's a good life, isn't it, Jan? And good morning, Conchina, is it? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. And I accept warmly as well. Look at this interesting rocks and the tree trunk there. Everything about, like, people compare the Australian landscape to other parts of the world. I don't think you can do that. The beauty is completely different. I've heard people say that, you know, the British landscape is so much more beautiful. Well, yes, it's green, but I think this is beauty in a different way. Hi, Cheryl. So look at what we have here. Again, I'm not going to go clambering in too far, just enough to show you these magnificent cliffs. I'm trying to get it to expose a little bit better. There we go, it's a bit lighter there now. Isn't that magnificent? It's majestic. It's gorgeous, isn't it, Angel? Okay, let's keep walking. I can hear voices, so I can hear that the other party is on their way back down the track. I don't have a problem with meeting up with other people on our walks, but I just think it's better for them if they don't have someone chattering in their ear while they're trying to enjoy the view. Hi Louise, how are you this morning? Okay, so we'll give these people some space to move past us. I might just move over to the side here while they finish taking their photos. I haven't actually walked along this path before, so this is quite close to the edge, and we're going to stand back. I'll just show you where I'm standing, so you can all rest assured that I am safe. Next to this little wattle, look at this little wattle here. Hi Rhonda, hi Mag. And the other group has just moved away, so we can actually start heading up the steps towards the lookout. The ground here is a bit soft and moist. Look at this. This is a grass tree. When it gets a flower spike, the flower spike is somewhere between 2 and 3 meters high. This is a really cool rock here. So, is everyone else seeing just the big blue spots instead of people's avatars? Or is that just at my end? All right, that's where we're headed. We're headed up here, up to the top of this rock. Just me. Oh, I can see Jay's picture, and I can see Sandy's picture, but everyone else is just a big blue spot. Okay. That's really strange. Look at the colour of this rock here. I think there's some kind of ironstone in amongst here. So this would be possibly rust. Either that or it's a lichen of some sort. I'm really actually not sure what it is. It's just the most brilliant orange. Be careful. Here we go. Look, I've got this fabulous handrail to hang on to as I climb up to the top. Look at this little cave here. So if you got stuck up here and it was windy and rainy, you could always just huddle underneath this little overhang. Good morning, Dolores. Did I say good morning, Ronnie Lynn? I think I did. Okay, hanging on. When we get to the top, I'll give you a full 360-degree pan. This really is the most stunning location. So I'm going to zoom in over here, first of all. So there you get to see the colour of the Blue Mountains in the distance. Does anyone need me to explain why they're called the Blue Mountains, or why they appear blue? The theory, that is. Let me zoom out again. Yeah, sure, DT. Let me just get up to the top here and I'll explain that, what the theory is behind the colour. I just have to kind of, watch where I'm walking. We have things like this here in the path. That could cause a problem if I got my foot caught down there. So I'm going to pay attention to where I'm walking. Oh, thank you so much, Norman. I do appreciate that. I always appreciate everybody's generosity. So first of all, the reason this is called Anvil Rock is that it was considered to resemble the shape of an anvil. And so at some point, someone decided to actually put a real anvil here. So that just reinforces the title of Anvil Rock. Good morning, Camilla and Camilo. All right, so the theory behind the colour of the Blue Mountains is that the expanse of eucalyptus forest releasing oils into the atmosphere, and then the refraction of sunlight on the oil in the atmosphere is what causes the blue hue of the hills. So let me sorry, I've got my hair in my face. We're going to start from over here and do a full 360 degree pan. I'll zoom in a little bit for it just to make it even more interesting. That there is the road that we came in on. So that's the dirt road that comes in from Blackheath. If I stand next to the anvil and actually look at where I'm pointing to, I can actually point things out as we turn. All right, so over in this direction in about 8 kilometres, we have Mount Victoria, which is the last village in the Blue Mountains before it starts to descend into Hartley Valley. Over in this direction here, in about 11 kilometres, we have a township called Bell. And just next to that, closer, just in front here, is a lookout called Walls Lookout, which you can come in from Bell's line of road, which is the road that goes along the opposite escarpment. Really? Richard says he's just spotted a peregrine falcon. Oh, it's in the tree there. Okay, hang on, guys. We're going to interrupt my 360 degree circuit to zoom in on this guy, if we can. Stay there, stay there, stay there. Don't move. All right. Just in the top of the tree there, apparently, is peregrine falcon. Do you see that? The wind's making it a bit tricky. Look at him there. That's awesome. I've never seen any bird of prey up close like that in the wild. All right, let's zoom out again because the picture's not brilliant up that close, is it? There he is there. You might be able to zoom in yourself on your postcards later. All right, so over in this direction we have Mount Wilson. If we see him take off, I'll try and catch him too. And zoom out a bit. Sorry. I'm trying not to step backwards and trip over this anvil here. So over in this direction we have Mount Wilson, and then we've got Mount Banks. Now Sydney is in this direction, 86 kilometres in this direction. So that's probably between the two peaks there that we're looking at. Hi, Jane Christine. So I imagine that you might just be able to see some outlines of tall buildings if you look really closely, and that's 86 kilometres from here. Then over in this direction we have Katoomba. So we're looking at, again, I don't know if we can see it. Let me see if we can zoom in. Well, they're the city buildings in Sydney. I couldn't tell you specifically what each one is, but it's Sydney, the city. Over in this direction is the chimney of the Carrington Hotel, and I'm just trying to see if I can identify it in my picture. A little bit hard to define. No, not in this direction here, where we were before. DT, where I was looking at before, over here to the left. Okay, so over here, try not to move too fast because I'm zoomed in. That's Sydney over there in the distance. How close can I zoom in? I think that's about as 10 times zoom. There we go. We've done 10 times. It's a bit it's a bit not very well defined that close, is it? Yes, on the horizon, Jay. There we go. All right, so we'll keep turning. So we're actually facing south. Katoomba is to the south of us, about 13 kilometres to the south. And then we're back over to the road that we came in from Blackheath on, this dirt road just here. Let me see if that falcon's still there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, yeah, there he is. He's still there. I'm going to come down, back down to the next lower level, and we'll see if we can zoom in on him again from a better position. Interestingly, Angel, koalas don't like every single eucalyptus. They only like certain kinds. We do have koalas in the Blue Mountains. There he is there. All right, let me see. Yeah, he'd be eyeing off here, trying to find a bite to eat. I'm just trying to see if it's better from here or a bit further down. Is he still there? Yeah, there he is. There he is. Center of screen now. He's looking around. That's pretty cool. Okay, we're going to go down to the lower level and see if we can see him better from down there. And then down in the valley, from this point, you're actually seeing the Gross River, which is one of the rivers that flows into the Hawkesbury River. Yes, it looked like he was actually turning his head almost full circle, wasn't it? This path is really tricky. I have to be so careful coming down here. It would be very dramatic footage if I was to trip at this point. All right, there he is there. Yes, we're going to get a slightly better shot of him from this point. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to zoom in here. Can you see him? Look at that. That's beautiful. If I move any further, I don't know if that branch is going to be in the way. Let me see. Oh, there he is. Wouldn't it be magnificent if he took off right now? All right, let's zoom out again. I'll have one last shot of him before I start heading back down the trail. There, that's pretty good. He does look quite comfortable there, doesn't he, DT? How about I throw you a soft toy or something? Do you think he'd chase after it? Good morning, Noel. You're just looking at, we've spotted a peregrine falcon. At least that's what we're pretty sure that's what it is. And then over to the left here, I just want to show you the colours of the cliffs at this point. Look at that. They're almost like the Three Sisters. They're very similar. Gosh, they're similar. Oh, your eyesight's better than mine, DT. Okay, we're going to head back down, and there's another tricky spot I need to be careful of, climbing down these rocks. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Diane. So we're going to head back down this path, and we'll see different views, because obviously coming from the opposite direction, it's going to look slightly different to how it did on the way back up. So for instance, over here, we have some more of this beautiful wattle just coming into flower. It is Rhonda. If you ever get a chance to come up here, definitely come up to this lookout. I highly recommend it. And it's only 7 kilometres from Blackheath. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that in shot. I think I'm a bit too close for this. Let's have a look. Govet's Leap is over in this direction, but behind that hill. Yes, Ronnie Lynn, you're right. We were all eyeing him off while he was eyeing off his dinner. Or potential for it. All right, I'm going to be climbing down some stairs, so I won't be watching the chat while I'm climbing down these stairs. This is where I'm headed. It's a little bit steep. I just need to take care, hold on to the rail, and I'll be all good. And I'm really happy that the signal held out this time. Okay. All right, so let's have a look inside this rock. Look at that. That's quite amazing, really, isn't it? And that's where we just were. We were just standing up there, up on top. Let me do a portrait shot for you. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's where we were just standing. And heading back to landscape now. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Suzanne. Picnic at Hanging Rock. Yes, we don't want any of that happening here, do we? They're actually about to close Govert's Leap lookout temporarily because they're going to upgrade the lookout. I just read that sometime this month they're going to close it, so I'm not even going to go over there and investigate the possibility of doing a tour. It's going to be closed by the time I have anything organised. So there are so many other lookouts and places to see in the Blue Mountains. There's a beautiful waterfall at Govert's Leap, but there's so many other waterfalls too. Here we go, remnants of bushfire. All right, so yeah, this is a nice shot of the sun just shining on these cliff walls here. It's lovely when the sun pokes out. It's beautiful, isn't it? And if I was brave, I would take you up here, but I really think I need two hands to take you up there. And that doesn't allow me to hold the gimbal. So, sorry guys. We're not that adventurous. We could climb up there. Maybe I need to practice that first and see if it's possible. All right, I'm going to head back to the car. It'll only take me a few minutes. I know we're going a few minutes over, but if you're happy to stay with me, I will take you with me back to the car park. Those steps are scary. They are, aren't they? Yeah, and I definitely do not wish to take a fall here. So what these little plants are, that's interesting too. I'll come back to that. All right, these are flannel flower plants, but there's no flowers out yet that I can see. I'm looking around just to see if there's any flannel flowers here. I think I can see one scraggly one, which isn't even worth looking at. But the other thing that's interesting, I want to know what's been digging here. Looks like some little critter has been digging a hole. The only thing I can think of is maybe a bandicoot. Australia's animals are mostly nocturnal, so there's tons of wildlife in this area, but you just don't get to see them because they're active at night. In this area we would have, oh, there's a flannel flower. In this area we would have possums and bandicoots, probably echidnas. I've heard that there's some people have reported seeing wombats in their backyards, been picked up on the night vision cameras. Kangaroos prefer open plains, not sort of rocky, bushy areas like this. But there are small wallabies. Hi, Pam. And I'm not sure where you're from, Ronnie Lynn. You probably have told me before, but I have a terrible memory. Not like American possums. These are totally different. Most of our animals are marsupial. Is the American opossum a marsupial? I can't recall. Koalas, there are koalas here. If they're smart, they stay right away from residential areas. The last thing they want to encounter is domestic cats and dogs. You're in New York, that's right. I think I do recall that. Here's this seat again, and it's looking lovely with the sun on it. There's a nice postcard for you all. And we'll get round this side as well. Species of possums. There's a brush-tail possum, which has a big fluffy tail, and then there's the ring-tail possum. They are marsupials. Oh, thanks, Sandy. The ringtail possum is thinner and not so fluffy, and they use that as an extra form of gripping branches. All right, so this is the point where we could lose the signal, and if we do, I'll preempt that by saying thank you all for joining me. But I'm hoping that it'll hold till we get down to the car. It's a tricky track. Yeah, just as we go under this rock here is where I lost it before. We've got this big rock here. I just want to show you the Banksias. It's a different Banksia to the one that I showed you earlier. Sandy, lucky you, we get them on our roof. They tap dance at night while we're trying to watch TV. In hobnail boots. So this is it's a different plant. So the two different plants side by side. I think it's a Hakia, this one. The cockatoos love them. And the honey eaters love the Banksias. They produce a lot of nectar. Oh, lucky you, Sandy, blue-tongue lizards. We used to have some in our backyard. We moved down to Sydney and rented the house out, and the family that moved in had a dog. We suspect that the dog quickly evicted the blue tongues. So does everyone know that blue tongue lizards give birth to live young? They don't lay eggs. They actually deliver live young. My son and his girlfriend found one time that was looking poorly. It had ticks attached to it. Temporarily, they brought the lizard with us, unbeknownst to us. And then one night, all of a sudden, we had 13 baby blue-tongue lizards in the second bedroom. That was interesting. And I was trying to convince them to release the babies into the wild because we have had bushland near us. But they wouldn't release them. So yeah, that was a whole other issue. Anyway, that's enough of that story. Thank you all for joining me on this tour this morning. I'm just looking for a spot that doesn't have the sun glaring on my hair. That might be better. I hope you all enjoyed the tour. I've enjoyed having your company as we explored the Wind Eroded Cave at Anvil Rock in Blackheath here in the Blue Mountains. Thank you so much for coming along. My next tour is going to be on Monday. It's a different lookout tour. It's on the other side of Katoomba at Kale's Lookout. One I had to cancel a couple of weeks ago because the rain and wind was just so wild, and it was a whiteout as well and just wasn't worth doing. So I'm happy to be able to bring you that tour again. For everyone who doesn't know, well, most of you do, Hago tours are delivered at no cost to you, and we aren't paid anything to bring them to you either. So if anyone is able to spare a tip, I'm always very grateful. Don't know what a blue tooth is. No, blue tongue lizard. So it's a large skink, and they're very slow, very friendly, very cute, and they live in our backyards and eat the snails. They're great. They're lovely to have in your backyard. All right, thank you again, everybody, so much, and we'll give you one last view of where I'm standing before I say goodbye. Thanks for the follow, Dolores. Yes, the blue-tongue lizards are cute, Angel. They're very cute. Look them up on YouTube. They're gorgeous. All right. Bye, everybody.